All right. Well, going on today, there's been some new studies regarding the discovery of new planets forming in harsh conditions never seen before. When talking about planetary formation. In the night sky for the sky report, there's a lot of planetary activity and things going on with Mars and Jupiter. Of course, Mars will be reaching opposition, but we'll get to more on that during the sky report. And finally, among the California wildfires, JPL and the Mount Wilson Observatory, they're in Altadena and Pasadena out there in the greater LA area are still holding up, even though those sites are constantly being threatened by the potential to burn down. But anyways, all of that and more will be covered this episode. This is Interstellar Insights. Well, guys, so starting off today's episode on a little bit of a study, there's been I guess we'll go into a little bit of the background regarding planetary formation. The traditional, I guess it's not really traditional. It's been the theory that's kind of stuck for a while, hypothesis actually. But by the nebular hypothesis, new stars are born from the remains of old stars, nebulas from all the collected up gas and dust, and then I almost hit the microphone. Sorry. The remaining dust and particles, they collect up and they basically form these disks of protoplanets. And you can think of it kind of like having multiple beads of water, and then over time, those beads of water will bead up together and then, form bigger beads and smaller beads of water. That's kind of what protoplanets are. And then over time, those protoplanets, collide together, sort of like the beating of water, to form planets, which is, it's the hypothesis regarding, in planetary systems and even, in the solar system, there's a bunch of protoplanets that eventually collided together and formed the 8 planets of the solar system that we know today. But there has been some research done, mainly at the ALMA Observatory. If you guys remember, I don't remember exactly which episode that was from. I just remember that I think that was talked about like for an episode. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but that is so. In case if you guys don't know what ALMA stands for, it stands for the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, located in Chile, and it's just this big telescope, very important, for astronomy. I think it's probably one of the unheard, unsung pieces of technology that we use for astronomy. So it deserves more recognition. But enough about basically me glazing ALMA. Put it into those terms. There's been like a team of researchers, and they've been looking at trying to I guess further and refine our understanding from the nebula or the nebular hypothesis regarding the formation of planets in this case. Right now, I need to sit up. Yeah, okay. Right now they're looking in the Sigma Orionis cluster. Yes. That's how you pronounce it. Latin isn't my strong suit either. But that's of course located in the Orion constellation Orion belt. And yeah, it's just it's a star cluster, very massive stars. And they're looking at protoplanetary disks in these stars. Main reason why is because and this has been done before. Sigma Orionis, that cluster has a lot of UV waves. It's a extreme UV heavy environment, which is which, sounds really bad because if that were happening on Earth, your skin would basically be like fried chicken skin, not very good and stuff. But it's also bad. I guess it's also harsh for planets. It's not bad per se. It's just like it's considered like a harsh environment, if you will. But after looking at this, they looked at these protoplanetary disks, and they realized that these disks are pretty normal, and they're kind of acting in line, if you will, with what the nebular hypothesis has to say in discussing like how basically how planets form, because really in the past, when talking about planetary formation, many researchers tend to look at environments that have less UV. But in this case, heavy UV, heavy, strong environment, planets still form normally, and basically, I guess if you will, is an expansion of the nebular hypothesis. And then, of course, with that being said, there's plenty of research being done. Maybe there's maybe someday there'll be like a planetary theory or theory of planetary formation. I'm sure. I feel like that exists, and this is just like a counter, like the whole Einstein Bohr thing in like the 20s regarding like Einsteinian versus quantum physics. But I'm getting a little off topic with what I'm saying. But like that there already is a theory of planetary formation. It's just that this nebular hypothesis is kind of existing to counter that. But anyways, yeah, as I said again, more research is being done. We'll further understand how planets form. So yeah, with that being said, let's go to this week's Sky Report. Alrighty, guys. That was kind of loud. Hopefully I can revise it. I'm working on the audio. I got a new microphone, so I'm trying to get like a good configuration. Although to be fair, I was kind of yelling there a little bit, so who knows? Maybe I just need to speak a little bit quieter. But anyways, we got the Sky Report for this week, so I guess we should just jump straight into it. In the intro, I was talking about Mars reaching opposition. Good thing is going to happen tonight at about 10 p.m. And basically, for everyone that doesn't know astronomy, opposition is when an object in the night sky is going to be at its brightest and largest and very visible. And it'll also be in the horizon for the majority of the night today. So it'll be very visible. It'll be located between the heads of the Gemini twins, so in the constellation, the twins Gemini, Castor and Pollux, those are the two heads. And then, of course, in the night sky, Mars is going to span about 14.6, arc minutes in the night sky, and it'll stand out as, a bright reddish disk, very, very bright. It's got the rusty red look that Mars always has in the night sky. But yeah, that's the big thing. I guess it is kind of the big thing of the week. But in particular for tonight, it'll be a very beautiful sight. Anyways, moving on to tomorrow, Jupiter is going to be also very bright. It's not opposition level, but it will be bright. So I guess it's having its own little mini opposition, if you will. It'll be shining at a very bright magnitude of negative 2.7 in Taurus, and along with Aldebaran, which will be at a magnitude of 0.9. It'll give Taurus the appearance of having eyes, for Taurus the bull. So bull's eyes are going to be present tomorrow night. And then there's some things also going on with Jupiter's moons, both Io and Ganymede. We'll start off with Io. Io is going to be having a a transition, if you will, across Jupiter, because it'll transit across Jupiter starting at around 8:36 p.m. and it's going to end about 10:48 p.m. where you'll get to see Io cross the planet in the night sky. And then, of course, Ganymede's also kind of having a transition, but it's actually going behind the planet. So what will actually happen is about a little bit after Io's transit, Ganymede will start to disappear in the night sky as it goes around Jupiter and begin to transition, backwards around. So it'll disappear from the view in the night sky, and then it'll reappear at around 1:50 p.m. Not p.m., 1:51 a.m. because you can't really see those planets like in the next day broad daylight. And by the way, I forgot to do it again. All times are listed in Eastern Standard. If you don't live on the East Coast, that's a you problem. Go deal with it. Blah 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 blah. I don't care. Okay. Moving on with Friday. I guess Friday's really the last chance to see Mercury in the early morning, because that's kind of the big talk. Hold on, maybe I'll get the mic. Yeah. That'll be like the big talk of talking about like the night sky as Mercury is basically sinking beneath the horizon each day, like Earth, like I guess not super early, but like it'll just keep sinking until it's like not visible. But I'll be like, okay, well, that was a weird yawn. Maybe that'll be a weird clip. Maybe if I start making shorts, maybe I need to start doing more whimsical stuff instead of being all quid pro quo and serious. But anyways, Mercury will be shining at a magnitude of negative 0.5, and it'll stand about 2 degrees high in the southeastern horizon before sunrise. And then, like I said, Mercury is just going to keep sinking and sinking until it's literally just not going to be visible because of it's just not on the horizon. But it will reappear in February. So I guess Mercury's got that going for the planet. So yeah, I mean that's basically what's happening this week. I guess I'll give you times. Today, sunrise is going to occur at 5 p.m. Moonrise is going to occur at 6:58 p.m. and moonset's going to occur at 8:45 a.m. Tomorrow, which is the 16th of January, sunrise is going to occur at 7:20 a.m. Sunset's going to occur at 5:01 p.m. Moonrise is going to occur at 8:04 p.m. and moonset's going to occur at 9:12 a.m. And then Friday, which is the 17th of January, sunrise is going to be 7:19 a.m. Sunset's going to be at 5:02 p.m. Moonrise is going to be at 9:06 p.m. and moonset's going to be at 9:35 a.m. And then the moon phase for this week is going to be waning gibbous. Yes. So, with that being said, let's go move over to our second big story of this episode. Alrighty. So I'm sure, it's made headlines that, LA, has been hit by one of the worst wildfires in modern history for the greater LA area in, Los Angeles and, LA County. But, besides, we've seen like images of Pacific Palisades and the Pacific Palisades fire, or even Eaton, and I guess it's kind of like in the northern area of LA County. But we've seen the destruction, and it'll take a lot of time for the whole area to recover from such destruction. But it's not also threatening homes. And the reason it's also threatening some of the top of the line telescopes or facilities pertaining to astronomy. I guess facilities pertaining to astronomy makes it sound like I know sympathy, but I should really not be yawning during a serious story like this. But of course, we know that. And then, JPL and the Mount Wilson Observatory are no exception to, potentially going down with the flames. Because, the Eaton fire, which is in the northern part of LA, Greater LA, and LA County, that includes, like Pasadena and Altadena, which is where, like JPL and Mount Wilson Observatory are located. So, like right now, I guess we'll start off with JPL. JPL right now is fine. It's I think for most of the part it was out of the way of the fire, but they basically closed down the facility. I guess for the week, assuming because of all the fires, and about 1,000 employees of JPL have evacuated from the area. But unfortunately, 150 JPL employees. Oh, my pencil. Unfortunately, 150 employees that work for NASA at JPL have lost their homes due to fire. The Eaton fire. JPL, out of the two of these has gotten pretty lucky, because I don't think Pasadena was really in the way of the Eden fire. I mean, I'm sure some parts of the city, have suffered damage, but I'm assuming not the area that JPL was located, and I'm sure I can say that for some other important institutions or places for astronomy and astrophysics, like Caltech, perfect example. I think that they're kind of out of the way of the fire, but I've heard that they've shut down campus for the week, and they're kind of evacuating people to safer areas from the fire. But anyways, besides that, we're going to talk about the Mount Wilson Observatory, because the Mount Wilson Observatory actually almost got burned down by the Eaton fire. All right, so I guess we'll talk about the Eden fire. So Mount Wilson is like 5 miles away from JPL, because JPL is in Pasadena, and Mount Wilson Observatory is in the San Gabriel Mountains in Altadena. Like I said, very close. Basically, Altadena is kind of like the northernmost extent that the Eaton fires ever reached. So like right now, I'm assuming right now as we're speaking, it's not burning in that area or as badly. But it was a couple of days ago, which is where Mount Wilson was. So it almost got burned down. And I'm sure most of you guys are wondering why the Mount Wilson Observatory is important. Because I'm not talking about the Griffith Observatory, which is not in the part of LA that's burning, besides Palisades, and then that northern part of Pasadena and those communities. Because Griffith, the Griffith Observatory is kind of like in the where the famous Hollywood sign is and stuff. But yeah, I'm getting off track with the Griffith Observatory. The Mount Wilson Observatory is very important because the telescope, it has a 100-inch Hooker telescope, and that's famous because that's the same telescope that Edwin Hubble used about 100 years ago to make his observations, and about how the universe formed, and the theory that the universe is expanding and such. And he did that all in that observatory, which is why people in the astronomy and astrophysics community, they're getting a little worried that that facility, that telescope, might go down in the fire. But for these two sites for Mount Wilson and JPL, this isn't their first rodeo in terms of dealing with wildfires. There have been, I guess we go a little bit into the past, but there have been a lot of times where these two facilities have almost burned down. Recently, besides this current wildfire that's sweeping through LA, is the Bobcat fire, which happened back in 2019. That's the most recent one, and then there weren't any between. I guess that's kind of the COVID Excuse me. Oh. Kind of happened during the COVID area, not area, the COVID era, if you will. You know, kind of stopped. I mean, there's still wildfires, but not in, the LA part of California. But right now, regarding the status, JPL and Mount Wilson Observatory, they right now currently remain safe. Right now, I think the fire's dying down a good bit, but it's still raging. I think in Palisades. I don't know about Eden, but I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't deal with that. So I'll let those people go to those people. If you're here to talk about the fire, I'm here to talk about these two important sites and how they almost got burned down. But anyways, let me finish off. Yeah. Workers, officials from mainly the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection are right now moving into JPL and Mount Wilson Observatory, just to secure those sites from the fires, because, those are very important, both, for NASA and to do stuff. And, Artemis 3's coming up, so gotta work on that. But also, the historic, my papers and stuff. The historic relevance of the Mount Wilson Observatory in the world of astronomy. So, that big close call during the wildfires, and, hopefully the fires die down, and, the people of, LA can start working to recover, and let's, hope for that. But anyways, with that being said, let's go move over to this week's edition of Astronomy Trivia. All right, guys, welcome to this week's edition of Astronomy Trivia. Of course, it's a show within a show. But let's talk about last week's question. And I believe for last week's question, I asked about which moon in the solar system is known for having 400 active volcanoes. And the answer to that question, I think everyone voted for Europa. It's actually Io. There have been 400 recorded, from observations, 400 recorded active volcanoes on Io. It's mainly because, if you've seen pictures of Io, all that kind of mustard yellow surface is sulfur, and a lot of volcanoes contain sulfur, which is why there's such a big amount of them. And it's kind of like the only moon to really have volcanoes like that, because there's moons known for everything, Europa might be able to hold life. I think maybe even Enceladus, because that's basically ice. It's kind of like Europa, but way more icy. I don't know, but Io is the moon in the solar system that just is constantly erupting because of all these volcanoes. It doesn't have the biggest, because of course that's Olympus Mons, that's in Mars, but still, something to keep note of, I guess, in terms of studying. And Io is one of the Galilean moons discovered initially by Galileo. But anyways, next question. Of course, I need to reveal this week's question. The question for this week is, what is the upcoming mission to the moon? I'm going to repeat this question again. What is the upcoming mission to the moon? I'm going to make two polls, one for Spotify listeners and one for YouTube listeners, and then y'all can answer on that, and then I'll reveal the answer to this question during next week's edition of Astronomy Trivia. But anyways, with that being said, let's go and close out this episode. Well, guys, I guess we've reached kind of the end of this week's episode, so next week should be regular song and dance, regular podcast episode and such. Bonus content wise, there should be some stuff coming out with more interviews. I'm going to try and find kind of a pool of people to interview and maybe release one episode per week for the bonus show. I think that'd be a good idea, just to keep the flow. And then I'm going to go back into making a butt ton of shorts, because I had a lot of momentum going into the shorts during winter break, and then winter break hit, and then I'm going to Florida, and then I'm sick, so I lost a lot of momentum in terms of making shorts and such. But hopefully at this week and basically leading to February, I'm able to get back on the shorts grind and start basically clip farm for myself, I guess. And then build that momentum up, build a solid short schedule, if you will, for posting my shorts content, basically. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this episode, hit that like and subscribe button. It really doesn't take a lot of effort, and it really helps me out a lot as a creator. And then of course, doing that just itself will grow this podcast, because if we grow our following, we can get new segments, we can get better stuff, a more well-developed show, if you will. So yeah, it is very important. But anyways, with that being said, that's all I've got. So this is Michael signing off.